Hey, what's going on people? In this video I'll be going over how you can gear up fast in Borderlands 3. Quick and easy farms is what we're covering today. This is for everyone looking to fill up a new character's inventory with overpowered gear as quickly as possible, whether you're still leveling up or preparing for the endgame. I'll be letting you know where you can get each gun, explain what it does, and let you know how you can boost its damage. From shields and artifacts across every weapon type, these guns drop more often than most, and are the perfect starting farms for every new Vault Hunter. We open with a couple of guns, and those are the Crit and the Hail. These guns can be obtained simply by spending your hard-earned money down at Moxie's bar. I know you do it anyway. Tip her enough and you'll receive one of these by mail. This is where I recommend you visit first when you're starting on your endgame journey, because A, you don't have to kill anything, and B, they're powerful enough to kill everything. Yes, with these guns you can skip straight to Mayhem 11 and start farming the most powerful gear in the game. The Hail is a dual assault rifle that comes in all the elements, including none at all, firing bullets in an arcing trajectory that can take a little getting used to. However, it has incredible critical hit damage sitting at 150%, and because it's a Moxie gun, it will also heal you, healing for 10% of the damage it deals. It is an incredibly powerful assault rifle, with its projectile pattern being a small price to pay for the damage it deals. The Crit, on the other hand, is even stronger and even comes in a ×2 variant. It has the same 150% critical damage bonus, and its lifesteal sits at 8%. It's made by Maliwan and can only come in shock, but its DPS is out of this world, with it able to melt away any kind of health bar. You'll notice that there is no strange projectile pattern here either, although there is quite a strange effect. While in use, it becomes incredibly greasy, with a 5% chance for it to slip out of your hands on reload. That can be incredibly annoying, particularly when it drops off the map itself, but if you can hold on to it for long enough and hit those weak points, it'll take down just about anything. Let's cover the shield slot now, with the Revolter being an incredible shield that'll massively raise the DPS of any build. You can find it in the director's cut from Sumo, who you fight around here in Escatan Row. Whenever it breaks, you'll become shock enraged for 15 seconds, where your DPS will skyrocket, increasing your fire rate by 50% and adding 200% bonus shock damage to not only your weapons, but each and every one of your damage sources. It is simply incredible and pretty much a must-have in every build. And as a bonus, you won't be farming too long at all to get one. It's best utilized on characters with an action skill that can be cycled frequently, in combination with an action skill start anointment. But even if you don't have that, whenever your shield does break, it will provide a hefty boost to the damage you deal. If you don't have access to the director's cut, then the Transformer will have your back. Best farmed for from Queen Antoinette, you can find around here in the Splinterlands. The Transformer doesn't increase your damage, but it massively increases your survivability, making you not only immune from shock damage, but having that shock damage top up your shield. You can use that effect to your advantage by using splash damage weapons against yourself. It's not pretty, but it works. It also has an incredibly high bullet absorption rate, with a 40% chance to convert bullets into ammo. That's a great effect in itself, and perfectly complements its shock immunity. Moving on to a shotgun now with the Hellwalker, a gun that only comes in fire and has an increased chance to drop from Road Dog, who you can find around here in the Splinterlands. The Hellwalker is a fantastic weapon, not only because it's powerful, but because it's incredibly easy to use and also drops in fixed parts. That means whatever Hellwalker you get is the most powerful Hellwalker, and you'll only need to farm anointments. That is only half the upsides of this gun, but the main one is of course its damage. It fires 10 searing pellets that ricochet on critical hits and tear into nearby enemies. It generally fires once per reload, but increasing mag size above 50% will have you fire twice, making a big difference to its DPS. That means you should avoid next to max anointments, with reload stack being a great alternative. At the same time that you're farming this Hellwalker, you should also be looking out for the red line. It drops from Road Dogg 2 and is a sticky stacking machine, especially useful on players like Moze, who can stick more gyro jets before reloading, resulting in an enormous sticky bonus when they all detonate. Next up we have the Free Radical, another overpowered legendary from the director's cut. This one only comes in shock and has an increased chance to drop from Beef Pliskin you can find around here in Kormash Canyon. The Free Radical is the melee wand blaster, firing sparkling shock orbs that destroy your opponents. Those orbs deal splash damage, which makes it even better, and you'll also notice it spawn homing bullets on successful hits, which increase its damage further. Despite being one of the top 3 weapons in the game, it is unbelievably easy to get, dropping about a third of the time. Splash Anoints will increase its damage further, along with obviously splash damage rolls, but like the Terminal Crit, it can also be a good idea to add an extra elemental flavor with the next to max anointment or Amara's infusion skill. Moving on to the Sandhawk, a rapid firing splash damage sniper rifle that can come in all the elements. It's most easily obtained from Katagawa Jr. You fight around here on top of Atlas HQ. The Sandhawk doesn't drop as often as other items on this list, but that's made up for by how easy it is to kill Katagawa Jr. You see, Katagawa Jr.'s shield doesn't scale at Mayhem levels, so undergeared Vault Hunters can easily defeat him simply using something like the Terminal Crit as mentioned before. Once you have one, you'll be set up to drop the toughest bosses in the game. Its damage is simply immense, firing 7 hard-hitting projectiles at a rapid rate that'll take chunks out of your enemies. Its main downside is its incredibly high ammo consumption, consuming 3 ammo per shot. And with the low amount of ammo in the total sniper rifle ammo pool, most characters won't be able to mob with it for long. I said most, not Moze. She can do it just fine. Now for the artifact you should set your sights on. The Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. This belongs to the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC as a reward for completing the quest, The Call of Githyan. Artifacts in Borderlands 3, and let's be honest, all Borderlands games, are incredibly RNG intensive. However, that's not the case here. The Pearl's main effect is the key driver to increasing your damage, where landing consecutive hits grant 1% increased weapon damage per hit up to 15 times. And at that max stack of 15, you'll get an extra 90% on top of that. That is a lot of extra damage, and all you need to do is shoot things, which you'll be doing anyway. This artifact is a no-brainer across all the Vault Hunters, especially for how easy it is to obtain. And considering that damage boost is the same on a low level Pearl compared to a max level one, any Pearl will do the job. Its passive stats are the only things that will change per level, rolling a total of 2 out of a possible 6, with the best ones being mag size and fire rate. Don't worry about fire rate too much, mag size is the key one here. Another easy weapon to obtain is the Soulrender, another item from the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC. This one can only be obtained by defeating Tom or Zam. You fight around here in Heart's Desire. The key thing about this farm is defeating one of them and spawning back to the spawn point will reset the fight, so you can consistently farm it as long as you don't kill both of them. That means you'll get a Soulrender much faster, and at the same time you should be on the lookout for an Anarchy, an incredible TDR shotgun, and the Old God, an alternative shield for boosting your damage if you don't have any Season Pass 2 content. Back to the Soulrender, and this is one of my favourite weapons, an incredibly powerful splash damage assault rifle. It doesn't appear to deal splash damage at first, that is until you see the purple skulls emit from its barrel and hunt down enemies with explosive force. Those skulls hit like a bus and deal the brunt of its damage, and that homing effect means you don't really even have to aim. Now to highlight some weapons from the Bounty of Blood DLC. All are incredibly powerful with incredibly high drop rates, sitting at 33%. First up, the Unkempt Harold, a Torg hand cannon that comes in all the elements including none at all. It has an increased chance to drop from Cabot Dowd. you can find around here in Bloodsun Canyon. Despite coming in ×3 and ×4 variants, the Unkempt Harold will always fire 7 projectiles, making the ×3 variant the best one. Those 7 projectiles don't all appear at once though, with the outer projectiles appearing a short time after you've fired. That means to maximize your damage, you don't want to be firing at point blank ranges, and you'll want to avoid Amirat's heavy rain skill. Another easy weapon to obtain from the Bounty of Blood is the Flipper. This one comes in all of the elements, with an increased chance to drop from Minosaur you can find around here in Bloodsun Canyon. The Flipper deals splash damage firing a single projectile, which grows in number the longer you hold down the trigger. That projectile count peaks at 9 once it's warmed up a little, and can comfortably tear through health bars. Extra projectiles means multiple procs of skills, and of course extra damage, and there's certainly no lack of that here. Next is the Lightshow, which like the Unkempt Harold, comes in all the elements including kinetic. It has an increased chance to drop from Lasodactyl you can find around here in the Obsidian Forest. The Lightshow fires 4 projectiles in a spiraling pattern that'll cut circles into your opponents. That projectile pattern can make it a little difficult to hit specific weak points, but aiming down sides will tighten the spread. It's a great all-round weapon that can deal with arenas full of enemies and bosses with ease. The last weapon you'll want to quickly hit up Bounty of Blood for is the Complex Root, a unique melee one sniper rifle that comes in all the flavors, with an increased chance to drop from Lanny Dixon, who you can find around here in Ashfall Peaks. The Complex Root fires in a 2-round burst, where an array of explosions will erupt both along the flight path and at the point of contact. It's these mini explosive clusters that are responsible for incredible things, particularly on an Eraser Zane, who can amplify the splash damage to extremes, where a single burst can wipe out all enemies in the vicinity. You'll need to protect yourself if you don't want to go down too, and it's simply a weapon that deals damage a little differently. Other than farming these weapons at their specific locations, Kormash is a great option, and you can find him around here in Ashfall Peaks. He's a straightforward boss to defeat, and will drop a smorgasbord of Bounty of Blood goodies, even more with a Shaluta equipped. If you don't mind what you get but still want it to be powerful, then you can't go wrong farming Kormash. Now I realize our launcher slot is empty, and the best option here that balances damage with ease to obtain is the Hive, which can be farmed for by targeting Princess Tarantella II, who you can find around here in the Splinterlands. The Hive comes in both corrosive and radiation elements, and I'd liken it to a slightly lesser Plague Bearer. It has the same fire and forget vibe, as it fires nests that house explosive bees that'll hunt down surrounding enemies. If you don't have the Plague Bearer, it is the perfect mobbing launcher, without the Mayhem 6+ requirement. And you should also be looking out for the Roizen's Thorns too, as you farm Her Highness.